Are you interested in producing your own eggs, but perhaps just don't have the space? Maybe you should consider quail. Hey, Provident Preppers, I'm Jonathan.
And I'm Kylene. And have you ever wanted to raise chickens for fresh eggs, but you just don't have the space? Well, our friend Beth has showed us how we can raise quail in little cages in a garage or in a mudroom, and they're just fun. They're really good pets, and it would be great for the kids to be able to go out and collect those eggs all the time. And for me, I've always wanted to do quail. This is our little chicken food forest. And what we're going to do is we're going to redesign this actually so that we can free range quail and have a nice net over the top to protect them. And wait, you're just going to have to wait and see how this turns out. It's a little bit behind in the projects, right? It's going to take a little while, but look forward to that. But in the meantime, totally quail could be raised in these little cages.
So check out Beth's video.
Good afternoon, Provident Prepper fans. Today I wanted to share with you a couple of my little friends. I have 5 little northern bobwhite quails in this coop. We purchased these quails not for meat or for eggs. We purchased them as pets. But they do lay eggs, quite a few eggs, and if you were interested, they can be raised for meat birds. These ones will never see the dinner table. They'll just live their lives out as happy little pets. This enclosure is 4 foot long by 3 foot deep by 3 foot tall. That's the enclosed space. And then there's a little additional footage on the upper platform there and their little roost that they have. We did provide them with extra lighting that will help with egg production. They need approximately 14 hours of light a day to consistently lay. They eat a game bird mix, which we just bought, a commercial game bird mix. And I put it in this little feeder that is just a Tupperware container with holes drilled in the side. They're a 1-inch hole, and I did this because quail like to stick their beak into their food and swish it around and make a real big mess out of it. This just helps to reduce the spillage and reduce the food cost. They don't eat a ton, they do waste a ton. So if you can find a way to reduce the waste, it will help cut your feed cost way, way down and stretch that feed out. We have bought one 40-pound bag of feed, and we've barely made a dent in it. The feed lasts a long, long time. We had an old Christmas tree that I cut some of the branches off, and we just drilled holes in around and stuck those little branches in. And as you can see, these little guys like to get up inside of there and hide out, and they use them as perches. That's where they sleep at night, is up inside of those branches. They're just a sweet little bird. They're a lot of fun. They're super cheerful. Lots of happy little sounds, as you heard when I started the video, I'm sure. But they're a good option for somebody who is space compromised, or you live in a town and there's city ordinances and stuff and you can't have chickens and ducks. We have chickens and ducks as well, but we wanted to see what it was like to have quail. They could easily live in a little entryway or mudroom or in a garage. Ours are in a garage. We live in a northern climate in northern Minnesota, so it's too cold to raise them outdoors. So we provided them with a little enclosure indoors where they're protected from the elements and the predators. We also, one feature, is they have a little sandbox where that little quail is sitting, that archway. Inside of there is sand, and they get up inside and they thrash around in the dust and the dirt and work it into their feathers, and that's how quails stay clean. Chickens do the same thing, and these guys are just so much fun. Just gonna give you a quick run through of how I clean the quail coop out so you have an idea of what it takes. I'm not gonna wear my dust mask today for the purposes of talking. I cleaned this out 2 days ago. I had taken it outside and gave it a quick pressure wash. Obviously, remove the food and water. And I cleaned those out as well. Super scary. We don't like it. So I usually just use a little scraper and a little brush and just brush things into the screen. Scrape off the stuff that sticks. I think you could build a bomb shelter out of this stuff. It sticks like the best super glue I've ever seen. And I just kind of scrape it off into the mesh. Sometimes you'll get some that are real stuck, and you just have to kind of scrape them off. Their little roost here. So you can see it's not overly dirty, and this is 2 days worth of dirtying their pen. It's not too bad. It's not scary, guys. It'll be okay. So just give things a quick scrape off. Get the dried on stuff and mashed in stuff out if you can. And then just give it a brush off and brush it down into the wire screen. We chose to use 1/4-inch hardware cloth on the floor because their little feet they're pretty small. Most people use 1/2 inch. I felt like it was a little easier on their little toes to use the 1/4 inch. It would probably be considerably easier to clean out with the 1/2 inch. So we have 1/2 inch here on the walls, but 1/4 inch on the floors. Sometimes when things are stuck, I just use a scrubby brush. And just scrape them in. Work it down into the trays below. And then here. I'll scoop things out and drop them into the pan, and that goes out into my compost. Save for the purpose of time here, I won't give it a full clean out, but you can kind of see I just brush things off, scrape things off, get the big stuff out. Like I said, once in a while, I will take it outside. I'll take the birds out, and they go into this little pet quarter here. And then I take the whole cage outside and give it a pressure wash. I like to reach in and fluff up their little bedding so they can hide in it again. They love this stuff. And then when I'm all done with that, I just take these little pans out from underneath. You can see they're just a little boot tray, and you can kind of see, that's 2 days worth of droppings. This is all food here. That's them wasting and spilling. But I'll just take these and dump them in this bucket, and then take it out to the compost pile and dump it in the compost pile. And it's that simple. It takes 5-10 minutes depending on how many days you've gone. It's quick, easy. Use a dust mask because there's icky stuff in the droppings, obviously, and it can powder and dust and stuff. But it's that simple. This is how I clean out the sandbox portion here. I'll give you a little look-see inside. They're all up on the top roost, so they should go scurrying off, hopefully. So this whole back panel opens up, which makes it quite easy to get in and clean this portion of their run. And I just come in again and just scrape things off, sweep it up, It actually comes off really easy on the linoleum. If you didn't want to do the mesh and the pans, and you wanted to do this indoors, I would recommend doing a linoleum because it cleans off really easy, and you can get in here and you can actually wipe things off too. We don't need these tools. So I just set up a tote and a little screen, and I go into their little sandbox here. Just take, and I don't do this every time because they don't dirty in it much. But I just take the sand and sift it through this screen, and it takes out any feathers and poo and any yuckies that are in there. It's just a piece of window screen with a piece of 1/2-inch hardware cloth underneath of it. And then after I sift it out, I have the clean sand that I just put right back in, and kind of like a cat box, the scoopable cat box, the litter that you can get. I'll just do one more, and they just love it. When it's all done, you'll see there's some yuckies in there. Set it down here. When it's all done, take it, I dump it right back in there. And they get really used to having to do this stuff, and it's not quite as scary. The first few times, they crash around and bang around and make some chaos. They really like it if you take the sand and you make a little hill in the middle. It lasts for about 10 minutes that way, but they can get in deep sand. But that's kind of how I clean the coops. As you can see, they do just fine with it. They're watching me. It doesn't stress them out too much because they get used to it. And then, because I have my little cart on wheels, slide them right back up in front of the window, and they're good to go. I'll clean up their food and water and put those back in, and everybody will be happy as a clam. And that's it. That's all there is to it. I was looking at these little guys in here, and I was thinking about people who raise parakeets and parrots and cockatiel, and I thought, well, why not raise quail? Because you can get breakfast from these guys. Just food for thought, and I wanted to encourage people to do some homework and see if quail would be right for your family, and let you know that they are very enjoyable and friendly little creatures. I hope you have a wonderful day and that you enjoyed seeing my favorite little bird, and encourage you to think outside the box and try something different.
Thank you, Beth. That was so cool. And sometimes we give up on our dreams of increasing our self-reliance because we can't do it the way we thought we would, or we don't have enough space, or whatever the reason may be. Sometimes we just have to get a little more creative and find the solution that works.
Yeah, and do the best we can with the circumstances that we're currently in. And someday, I'm going to have my little quail habitat. Someday.
There we go.
Someday.
It's coming. Now for the question of the day. What experience do you have raising quail or other similar creatures? Comment below. And thanks for being part of the solution.